Good afternoon, everyone. It is Wednesday, March 16th, 2022 at 3 o'clock p.m. And that means it is time for Women in Business. And y'all are in luck today because you don't have to listen to me rattle on for an hour. There's actually a guest. I know, shocker. Woo, I'm very excited. And you all should be excited about this too, because this woman is a powerhouse. You are going to love this. But let me tell you a little bit about her. Jenna Quaranta, known as JQ, is the VP of Sales and Business Innovation for a new brand that launched at PPAI, Knoss Apparel. She is known for her gregarious and outgoing personality, entering every meeting with a big smile and a few great mom jokes, so she'd fit right in with the two regular guys, and respected for her out-of-the-box ways to help her customers sell apparel. Quaranta has been recognized by both Jack Nadal and Promo Shop as Supplier Sales Rep of the Year. She shines bright in this industry as someone who can instantly make you feel like you've been friends for a lifetime. And I can attest to that because we talked before this and she's great. JQ lives in Southern California with her very talented 10-year-old daughter, Grace, and her loyal senior dog, Samantha. Let's bring her in. And I can see she's laughing at me. So.
I'm dying. I'm dying right now. That's my colleague and dear friend Christine Ng, who works with us, wrote that, and I was dying right now. It's good.
Well, she did a really good job because, I didn't have to translate any of that bio into third person, which a lot of the bios I get are first person, and then I have to translate, which is a little weird. But yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for being here, first of all. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Because I kind of stalked you and then poached you from another podcast too, which, by the way, before I forget, if you have not gone to Badass Women of Promo, you should go to this link and you should listen to Jenna's interview with Charity Gibson, because that was awesome. And it's what inspired me asking JQ to be here with me. So definitely do that.
Thank you.
But I have so many things I want to talk to you about today, but I want to start with something. And one of the reasons that I also recommended that people go listen to the Badass Women of Promo podcast, which is what you said about the fitness industry and why you got into it and why you got out of it. And what I wanted to talk about was the fact that you said what kind of made you leave the industry was the fact that people were only focusing on appearance and not necessarily on getting stronger or getting healthier or, having a better lifestyle or whatever it was. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit because you were in the industry, like 10 years or something?
The fitness industry, 11 years. Yeah. And I got into it, I think on Charities, I shared that I had to beg my parents to let me get a job at the time. They didn't want me to work. They wanted me to focus on academics and school, which is great, obviously, but I wanted to have a job and have my own money. Mm. I also had a really sick mom. My mom was diagnosed with stage 5 at the time when they had 5 stages, breast cancer back in 1990.
Oh, wow.
And very athletic. She was just... fuck, man, angel on earth for sure. But she gained a lot of weight due to chemo and the steroids that she was on. And I watched how her life changed due to her weight gain, and how my dad, who is still to this day very athletic, would, try to get her to go walk and do things. And I think deep down, now that this even came up, and I've never even thought about this, but it did trigger, I got into it because I think I wanted to help my mom. Sure. I think I really wanted to learn how to help her. And I actually went through a cancer exercise specialist training on my own because I really wanted to work with cancer patients. So that was my passion, was to change people's lives, and still is in my role here at Knoss. But that's all I want to do in anything, right? Like if a friend sends me a text, or if it's an email or a conversation with you, I just want to help people live a better life and love themselves.
I like that.
That's why I got into the fitness industry, is I wanted to help people. It wasn't about dropping weight. It wasn't about helping my clients lose weight. It was about meeting the goal of happiness and helping my clients live a better life. I had one client that sticks out, who I helped her lose 100 pounds before her wedding. It took over a year. Do you know what an accomplishment that was for me, to be at her wedding, watching her walk down the aisle? My God, it's amazing. But then what happened was, I got so into it, and I moved to LA. I started working at the West Hollywood location, and that's where it changed for me. People, it's a different world there, and people, they only cared about getting hotter. and this guy that I was working with at the time was super smoking hot, super sexy. And I was all, bro, we don't need to be training twice a day. It's crazy. And it just got to the point where I wasn't changing people's lives anymore. And those people there were not receptive to that. They weren't available for that. They didn't want that. They just wanted to be hot. And that's where I was like, oh, I'm done. I'm out. I can't do this. Yeah, no.
Well, the reason I wanted to talk about this a little bit is because I came at fitness I grew up with parents who meant well, but the message that I got was, you're not acceptable. You need to eat less. You need to work out more. They put me on diets. They would monitor my food intake. It was just not a good situation. So I came out of that very anti anything related to fitness or appearance, because I felt like I couldn't measure up, and I felt like it was prison, basically. Fast forward several years, 2008, my heart went haywire for reasons that are just, it's beat up, basically. And I learned that if I exercised and ate better and dropped weight, my heart functioned better. And so I started to see it in a different light. But what the message that I really wanted to kind of bring out here is the fact that it doesn't have to be about appearance. It actually really shouldn't be about appearance if you want it to stick.
You're absolutely correct. I'm 41 years old and I am not ripped. I am not super, super lean. I don't want to be. I don't care to be. But I'll tell you what I am. I'm fucking jacked. I'm super strong. I'm super nimble. I'm super quick. I'm really sturdy. I have a solid foundation and I feel confident every day. And I feel like a fucking badass every day because I know that I can probably do some damage if I needed to. But for me, it's not about being lean. It's not about being sexy. It's not about being hot. You know what's sexy is being happy, as being kind and being authentic, and setting a good example for my daughter that, a fitness is not a hobby. It's a lifestyle to take care of your body. You get one body from God. That's it. Take care of it. It's setting an example. So it's like, I know that I will never be super skinny. I don't claim to be, I don't want to be, but I am strong and I am very healthy. And that is why I work out. And I wanted to train people with that same mindset. Let's get you healthy. If there's weight that you need to drop, let's drop that weight for sure. But this isn't about being sexy and hot. It's not. It's about living a happy lifestyle, loving yourself and feeling confident every single day. That's all I wanted to do, was help people feel that way. I
totally agree with that. And it's about also, one of the things that was a real revelation to me, and I don't know why, is that it's about being functional.
Yeah.
Which sounds weird, but being able to get up from a squat, being able to walk up the stairs, being able to carry a heavy bag of something and be all right, and not be like, oh my God, I'm going to die.
You're right. And I'm a packed mule. I can't tell you how many times I've helped people I can't tell you how many times I've been on boating trips with friends or on, helping people move and, I'll get that. I got it. Trust me, I can handle this. Right. But it's feeling confident, knowing your body and knowing that I can jump in and help wherever I need to. But I don't care to be super sexy and hot and have the best body. I care to be healthy and stick around for my kid, and be able to lift things when I need to and kick somebody out. Just kidding. But, that's how I got my job at Alfred Broder. I told Larry Miraminguez, he was the inside sales manager. He made a comment about my resume. He said, I bet you could kick my ass. Huh? I said, yes, sir, I probably could. But it just,
Hey, honesty, you got to say what's true.
But isn't that, like, I know I'm joking, but that ties back into a confidence level and just being nimble, being flexible, being able to pick up your purse when you're 80 years old and pick it up, right? Like, I knew I was having foot surgery last Friday. Do you know, for 2 weeks, every single day, I prepared for that with balance, stability, flexibility exercises, because I wanted to know in recovery that I was good. So it's like your mindset, you have a good understanding, and thank you for sharing what you shared. And I can't imagine how hard that was, but to see you, like I told you before we started, to see you hosting this podcast, affecting and motivating and inspiring other people, knowing you've gone through some shit. Good for you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I wish, in retrospect, I wish that I had figured all this out earlier. I'm 53 and but I guess better late than never. So that's kind of
100%.
why I wanted to talk about this too, is because maybe there's somebody out there who's 25 or 33 or whatever it is, and maybe they hear this and it makes a difference. So,
I hope
but I
so.
also wanted to talk about the aspect of what fitness can do for your mental health too, because mental health is, I don't know how many of these shows you've seen, but mental health is kind of a theme I talk
Yes.
about a lot because I deal with some issues, and a lot of people deal with issues, I think. And
Yeah.
I really like to talk about it in the sense of not only mental health, but how important self-care is.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. And I didn't even learn how fitness could help mental health until I went through my own situation in 2017. When I went through that, I made a decision to remove alcohol from my life immediately.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had a problem with alcohol. I've never, lost my mind and got in trouble with it, but I'm definitely the life of the party when I have a few beers for sure. But I realized that that wasn't going to serve me trying to heal from a mass shooting, right? So
Sure.
I learned back in 2017 to replace that, replace drinking with going for a run, or I got a punching bag, right? I started doing yoga. I started, I was gifted a Peloton by my ex-employers, and I started grinding on the Peloton. And so, with that being said, it's like mental health is such a huge issue in America right now, especially
Oh
with our
my
youth.
God.
It's with the youth. It's like, I could be wrong, but I feel like it's 1 in 7 kids now, or 1 in 8 will have mental health issues as they age.
Mm-hmm.
So it breaks my heart. But back to fitness, I learned that I could go crush a beer if I'm feeling stressed out, or I had people over on a Friday, I could go crush a beer, or I could make a commitment to go for a workout before my friends came over and get my whatever I needed to get out, my anxiety, whatever was out on a
Mm-hmm.
run. And then I would find I wouldn't drink with them. And then on Saturday, I'd wake up and I'd work out again. Right. So
Right.
me personally, for me, it's been important because it's been a supplement in my life to drinking. And so
Right.
I picked up working out on the weekends. I stopped going to brunches with friends at all. I don't drink really anymore. I had to remove
Mm-hmm.
alcohol from my life. Again, never had a problem with it, but there's no good benefit out of it at all.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one.
Yeah.
There's a history of alcoholism in my family, so I try to be aware of that. But
Yeah.
the funny thing that about what you said that I'm really kind of identifying with is, for me, I'm an emotional eater.
Uh-huh.
Because of how I grew up and a lot of stuff, when I was sad, I'd eat. When I was mad, I'd eat, because that was a safe way to kind of stuff my emotions. I've learned now that when I'm pissed off, I go kickbox.
Yeah. Killer.
And and it's like it gets rid of the stress, it lets me get out the anger. So I'm with you. I exercise every day now,
Oh, I'm so proud of you. That's awesome.
depending on and sometimes it's like more hard exercise, sometimes it's yoga or something, but I try to do something every day, and the mental
Amazing.
health benefits have been enormous.
It has been. And so after what happened at the Route 91 situation, when I came home, I did remove alcohol from my life, and I started working out like a psycho. And that never really changed. And, unfortunately, I'm going through a divorce, unfortunately. And I've completely removed alcohol from my life for the most part since that happened. I've had some, drinks on Christmas with my family and some
Sure.
friends, whatever. But I just knew for me to get my career on the path I needed it to be there for my daughter while she's healing from that divorce, and be there for myself, right? And my family and friends that are going through that with me. Working out has been a staple for me. Organizing weekend hikes, organizing walks with friends, working out with my daughter, right? So it's like, fitness should not be about getting sexy. All right. If you have weight to lose, yes, I understand that. But fitness should be used as an outlet, as a stress outlet, right? As a release, as an anger outlet. There's times I still get angry about shit that happened. My mom dying, right? Like, I still get angry at stuff. I have a punching bag. My neighbors know me very well because I'm loud, So with that being said, it's like, I'm so proud of you that you're doing that every day, because then it works into a routine for yourself every day. And I have a routine Every morning, people that are close to me know that I am so routine in my life. It's crazy. And the second I get up, fitness is involved all day.
Mhm. Well, but I think first of all, people knock routines. They say, oh, it's boring or you're in a rut or whatever it is. It's like, I have a routine too. I mean, I get up and I do this and then I do this. And then I know that exercise is going to be here and then, lunch
Yeah.
or whatever. And it works.
You're more free in your day. You are
Yeah.
more organized. You have
Yeah.
room for the important things. Do you want to know what I think you would like, actually? And check it
What?
out when we're done. I think you would love the 75 hard challenge.
Oh, dear.
I know, but here, and I'm not saying you have to do it. I'm not saying anyone has to do it. I'm not saying it's going to even work for you. But it is going to teach you healthy habits, and it is going to teach you even more what in your day needs to be removed, what is serving you, what isn't serving you, what you have time for, what you
That's
don't have time
interesting.
for. It's going to, all it does is build healthy habits, right? You'll lose weight
Right.
by default. But with that being said, it's not about losing weight. It's about building healthy habits in your life. And I'm sure routines can be boring. That might mean the routine's not the best routine for you. I don't know.
Right.
But with that being said, if I didn't have a routine, even when I travel, I have a routine. I travel with fitness equipment, my folding foam roller, because I have to stay on track with my day for sure.
Right. And there's just, I don't know, there's just so many benefits. And I think we're still trapped a little bit in it's about how you look. You have to be, especially if you're female, you have to be a size 6 and you have to wear, you can't have curves and all. And it's like, you know what? Some of us were built with curves. My boobs and my butt are not going anywhere. I'm sorry. I could exercise for the next 50 years. It's not,
Yeah.
they're just here.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it.
Well, it's something I had to make my peace with. This is how I'm built.
Exactly. But as long as you're taking care of your heart, as long as you're taking care of your body, as long as you love yourself and you're happy with yourself, as long as you look in the mirror and you say, I love myself, then you're doing the right thing. It's not about being hot. And I think people get so hung up on, I have to look, especially girls too. Oh my gosh, I see some of these girls. I go to the gym 40 to 55 minutes, right? Like by 60, I'm out. I see some of these women spending hours in there. And I just think, I hope this is for you. I hope it's for you. I hope you're doing it for you. Yeah.
Well, and that's something I think that's a universal thing for women in a lot of areas, and something that we've talked about on this show before is the fact that we do so much for other people or to be deemed acceptable or whatever it is. And it's like, man, we need to start thinking about what we need to do for us, not in a selfish way, but in I'm deserving of the same attention that I'm giving to all the other stuff in my life.
It's like the airplane analogy, right? What do they tell you? If there's an emergency, the mask comes down, put it on yourself first, and then help the people around you. It's the same thing. Put your own oxygen mask on before you're trying to help and fix other people. How can I go be a strong parent for my daughter, a great sister for my brother, and a great employee and leader for Knoss Apparel if I don't have my own mask on first? If I am not breathing on my own and crushing life on how can I go be available? I can't.
Well, and it's just so silly because so many women, I have been one of them in the past, are told that their needs come last. You're supposed to take care of everybody else. And it's like, you know what? I'm like a champion caretaker of the world. I was well trained, man.
Yeah.
But one of the best things I ever learned was I need to put what I need first because I can't help the rest of you.
Right.
And I mean, the rest of you, whoever that is, I'm not saying the rest of you watching this show, but
no, I get it. Taking care of yourself mentally and physically is important. It's going to make you better for everyone around you that needs you. It's going to make you more available. And I'm telling you, having a routine for me has really freed up that time to be able to help other people. Right. If I didn't have a routine, how would I even have time to help them?
I think that's totally true. And I think that the other half of that is something that you said too about it helps you be a better leader as well. If you're tuned into yourself and you know your strengths and weaknesses and you know what you like and what you don't and what you need and what you don't, then you can help other people find those things out too. And you can forge a path.
Yeah, 100%. This is, this is my first time, being in a role this large. My other only leading role is to raise a young lady, but
Hmm.
here I'm leading a team, and they depend on me every single day. And, I'm learning every day from my leader, Elson, right? Like, we all depend on each other, and I need to be available for them. I need to be strong to them. I've been running this sort of top secret underground boot camp in the industry for the last 4 weeks. I think we're 5 weeks in now. A business coaching boot camp. And we're kind of doing a beta test on things right now, which requires me to be available to my clients that are in that boot camp. And so, if I don't take care of myself, if I don't have my own routine,
Hmm.
and if I am, if I'm not putting my own oxygen mask on first, how can I be available for these people that depend on me every day? So
It's totally true.
yeah.
Well, you gave me a nice segue here, so I want to segue because I want to talk about Grace, your daughter.
Oh, okay. If I cry,
Because no, pull your arm and make you do it, right?
yeah,
But I watched when you gave me research material, you gave me your Instagram as one of the things, and I watched a bunch of videos, and she is an insanely talented young woman.
yeah,
But I want to talk about that because part of raising a kid in general is you have to figure out how to balance things. But when you've also got a kid who's maybe going into something or who has a special talent or who is going into an industry
right.
like Grace is going
Yeah.
into, she
Woo, you
dances,
got
she
me. Yeah.
acts. And how that? I don't even know where to start with this, but
Yeah.
let's start with when she first came to you and said, "This is something that I want to do."
Yeah.
What was your how not maybe what was your response to her because I'm sure you said, "Great, honey, we love
Yeah.
that." But in your
Yeah.
head, were you
Yeah.
going, "Oh my God?"
No, I started to go. So my co-parent and I, my ex Kim, her Grace's other mom, we have a great co-parent relationship, and it's gotten better in the last couple of years here. And very very grateful for her. Obviously, I think we have started to go, oh shit, probably the last year when we've
Mhm.
realized there's something happening here. With that being said, you know, I think Kim and I knew very early that there was something there with her dance capabilities. That
Mhm.
probably came around one. By two, she was really moving, had this rhythm. And I can think back to some videos I have when she was 2 years old. And I remember thinking, oh, she has rhythm. She did not get this from you, And so it's like, I knew there was something special.
Mhm.
It was when we put her in organized ballet, a serious ballet academy with Debbie Ellen, that we realized this is going to snowball, and
Mhm.
it has snowballed. With projects she's working on, and possibly Broadway in her future, which is like mind blowing to me, obviously. But people comment on Facebook and Instagram all the time. You're doing so great with her, Jenna. You're such a great mom. And I'm like, I'm not doing anything, but thank you. This is her choice. This is
Mhm.
her dedication. She sets her own alarm in the morning to get up and stretch. She stretches before bed. She lays on ice when she needs to. I don't have to tell her to take care of her body. So
Mhm.
this isn't me. I'm sponsoring her life financially, sure, but that's as far as it goes. Whatever is inside of her is brewing on her own.
Mhm.
I will admit, I get a lot of my ambition from watching my dad. I will admit, Gracie gets a lot of her ambition to take care of her body from watching Kim and watching me. Kim takes extremely great care of her body. She's in the fitness industry to this day. But
Mhm.
also, with that being said, she watches my business hustle.
Sure.
Kim's a social worker, so we have obviously different jobs, but Gracie sees two different sides, right, of her parents working. But she sees the grind, she sees the hustle, and every day I say to my daughter, be a good listener, or I say, hey, be a leader today. And now I've caught her saying that to her friends at dance. I heard her the other day say, hey, be a leader today, to one of her girlfriends. And so, I'm learning, when people say that, that's very sweet. Thank you for saying I'm a good mom. But also, they say you must be so proud of her. And I want to be clear. I am proud of my daughter. I mean, oh
Mhm.
my God, I'm blown away by her. I am most proud of her dedication to her craft. I'm definitely most proud of how she takes care of her body, and what she chooses to eat to stay healthy. That's what I'm proud
Mhm.
about. That's what I'm proud of. Yeah. And how kind she is to her friends. That's what I'm proud of.
Well, it sounds like, I mean, she's very talented and she's growing into an amazing young woman, but I guess what I'm curious about is, because I've seen this kind of from the other end, how do you nurture the talent and still let the kid be a kid?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So she has two different homes. She goes back and forth between Kim and I. And when she's with me, it's a completely different world. We go skiing, we go on lake trips, we throw the frisbee together. She hangs out with my dad. She loves her. We do play Monopoly, and she eats hot dogs. And we don't talk about her I don't know, movie she's working on. We don't talk about that stuff because that isn't, doesn't relate to the family. That doesn't have to do with the family unit. I don't sit and talk about my job all day, So with that being said, it's, we definitely have expectations of her. Kim and I both do. She has chores in both of our households. There's expectations of her. So with that being said, it's not a focus. And, I'm doing my best to teach her to celebrate quickly. When Kobe Bryant would shoot a 3-pointer, you didn't see him celebrating for 5 minutes. It was maybe a fist pump and he's back on defense. And that's how I want her to live her life, is like, let's celebrate. It's cool to celebrate for a second, but get back to work after that celebration. And so that's what we're trying to do, I think, with her. Hopefully that was a long answer. Sorry, but.
No, that's good. It kind of fascinates me a little bit because, having been a kid who had certain talents myself, and some of them were supported and some of them weren't, I'm always trying to figure out, if I had had a child, which I never particularly wanted to do, but if I had, what would I have done differently, I guess. And so, I'm looking at Grace and I'm saying this is clearly a young woman who has a lot of talent, but there's also, when you have a lot of talent, there's a certain responsibility that comes with it too, a little bit. That are you nurturing the talent? Are you maintaining the talent? Are you using it to the best of its ability? And when you're the parent of that kid, how do you navigate? This is the question I really want to ask. How do you navigate the fact that she's a dancer and an actress, two industries that are not known for being kind to women?
I know.
So what do you tell her?
Yeah, we talk about, honestly, it's like, my answer is, oh gosh, my answer is God. I always push her. For me, it's God, right? So I do push her to have a relationship with God. I push her to stay close with her parents. We say our prayers together every night. So just the other night, I'll give you an example, right? We're in bed together, we say our prayers. And something that we prayed for was to always keep the type of bond that we have. And I always tell her how important it is. I drop her off at the bus and I see a lot of these other kids that don't want to hug their parents. And I'm like, oh. So I told her the other day, I dropped her off and I said, I want you to know that it's really cool to hug your parents. It's cool to be close with your parents. It's cool to have your friends around your parents. I hug my dad all the time. So I'm almost 42 years old. And I still will hold my dad's hand sometimes, just like standing around. I always have my hand on my dad, and that's cool to do that. That's cool to have that. And so that's what I focus on with her, is telling her that's what's cool. It's not cool to blow your parents off. And so hopefully that makes an impact on her. But my ex is also extremely down to earth, 100%. And so Grace does not get her head fluffed at all by either one of us. At all. And with that being said, we just do our best to teach her about, body respect, what that means. If mommy and I aren't on set with you, or you're at your own dance class, what it means to be protective of your space and boundaries. And it's okay to tell people no. And that's what I want for her. And she gets her strong side from Kim, for sure. Kim is very assertive. Gracie is very assertive. I tend to be a bit more laid back and, I just want everyone to be happy, and that's to a default. Sometimes that's been like not good. But with that being said, we tell her how it is, healthy boundaries, but to stay focused on what matters, which is family and mental health and keeping her body healthy and her academics. We expect for her to excel academically. So that's, a big focus for us at home, for sure.
Well, I love what you said about it's okay to say no, make sure you set your boundaries, that kind of thing, because that's having been someone who was abused as a child, that's something that I really, and there, that's a whole other story, but
Yeah.
that's something that I think is so important. And I like that message a lot, that, the thing that always comes up when I see people talking about that is like the little kid that's forced to kiss their uncle or something and they don't
Yeah.
want to,
Yeah.
and that it's okay to say, no, I don't want to, and have
Yep.
that be respected. And I think that's a message that needs to be given out to kids a lot more, that just because you're little doesn't mean you don't have body autonomy.
100%. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah. That's so true. That happens all the
It
time.
is.
I just witnessed that. My brain is like, I just was in a situation with a little girl who was forced to hug her uncle, but it was
Yeah.
the dad's girlfriend's sister's boyfriend. I was all,
Yeah.
bro, that's crazy. But yeah.
Well, yeah, and it's, we treat little kids like they don't have the right to, or even older, teenagers sometimes. It's like, "Oh, and it's like, "No, that doesn't have to, you have the right to say, I don't feel comfortable with this."
100%. And that's so important, especially, that's an important message for us with Gracie, especially when she's on set. We're not always in the auditions with her. We're not always we're never in the dance classes with her ever. And
Right.
she's sometimes the only kid in these classes, so yeah.
Yeah, and it's also, I think, important because especially when you're a kid navigating in an adult world,
Mhm.
you wanna believe, if you're the parent, you wanna believe that every adult that's gonna be around your kid is trustworthy.
I know.
They're not always.
No, they're definitely not. Mm-mm.
And that's, so it's, I mean, navigating this just seems like it would be so complicated in a
It's
way,
scary.
because well, and I don't want to go into all the awful things
Yeah,
that could happen, because
I
that's
know.
not helpful for anybody, but, and it sounds like you're giving Grace the right tools to take care of herself, and that's important too, but especially for young women. I
Yeah.
mean,
And the other thing too is keeping the waves of communication open with her, right? Every single day. And I know that sometimes she gets annoyed. My dad did it. My dad still does it. Okay. I will ask Gracie, hey, how was your day today? What was the hardest part of your day? She'll tell me math, or she'll tell me and Bryn had an argument, or whatever it is, right?
mhm,
And I'll say, what was the best part of your day and what did you accomplish today? I always do. It's a
mhm,
routine of ours because I want to get her to start thinking, what did I overcome? What did I accomplish today? Right. And so I think keeping the ways of communication open, I always ask about her friends. I always ask what she's looking
mhm,
at, if she's on her little iPod or the TV. I'm always asking, hey, what are you watching? Can I watch it with you? I want to know what her world is like. I want to, understand, what she's into. And I think knowing that I am always, she called me this morning because she was on the bus, her Apple Watch was making some weird noise. She called me this morning and I was on a conference call, saw my daughter calling, and I said, hey, give me a minute. Answered. I said, hey, sweetie, are you okay? And she said, mom, my watch is beeping. What do I do? And I told her what to do. And she said, thanks, mom, for answering. I appreciate it. And
mhm,
so it's just teaching her that call me anytime. I'm
mhm,
always here for you. It doesn't matter. And I think, I had that as a kid. A lot of people didn't have that. So they've learned, who do I go to? Who do I go to for
mhm,
help? Who can I trust to always be there for me? Who can I depend on? And so Gracie going into this world, and who knows where this could go for her and her career and how fast and when it's going to happen. But I just want her to know that her mom and I are always here. Your
mhm.
grandpa, your Uncle John, and Kim has, a great set of friends and family on her side too for Gracie. So it's like, I think just keeping communication waves open with our kids will absolutely help, not only with mental health, but in a situation where Gracie is, right? Where it's like, you can't always trust the people that are around your kids. Just knowing she can call me and she will at any point to tell
Mhm.
me anything. That's important to me. Yeah.
Oh, and I think that's huge for any kid, to have somebody that they know that they can go to and trust that whatever they have to say, it's going to be received with,
Yeah.
you know, caring and attention. And I don't know. I mean, I really admire people who are raising children in today's world, because I
Me
never
too.
had the desire to do that myself, but I
Yeah.
think it's got to be,
It's
I mean,
there's no manual book, right? It's like
well, no.
I became a parent at 30, And I was ready to be a parent at 30 with the amount of love I had to give. But
Mm-hmm.
where I wasn't ready was to understand once that kid hits like 5, 6, 7, and they have friends and there's things happening and there's dynamics and, they start to have emotions. Am I prepared for that? And I did. I moved quick, but I will tell you, going through what I went through in Vegas at Route 91, hands down made me a way more present parent. 100%. That was the best, worst weekend of my life. And I came back a completely different person.
Oh, so, yeah. That's something that, I mean, after that, everything's different.
Yeah.
100%. It's got to be, because if I mean, unless I don't think there's any way you come through something like that and are not changed.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, but what let's talk about that for a minute. Not the specific event that happened to you, but when you go through something that really has the potential to be damaging or is scary or is painful or whatever it is. One of the things that I have really focused on dealing with some of the things that were damaging in my life was that, okay, what's the lesson here? What's the good thing that came out of this? What did I learn from it? And that's not to negate the bad stuff, but it's kind of my way of dealing with, okay, this shit thing happened. And now how do I redeem that thing? Does that make sense at all?
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah. Well, for me, I have for years, even today, every morning, I ask myself, I have 8 questions that I run myself through every morning. And one of the things I pray for every day is that God continues to use me to help people and to change people's lives, no matter what that means. And I don't know what that means, right? It can mean anything, but I just know that I want to be a vehicle that God can use to help people. And the thing that I got out of Route 91 was God was answering my prayer. I was there and I helped people that evening. And I helped people afterwards. And so with that being said, I was in a situation where God was using me to help people. I gained some really cool friendships out of it. I got married. I was there at the time with my girlfriend, and 2 of her really good friends, all 3 just amazing people. And, it was just, I realized that I wasn't alone in anything. There's always someone that is going through something, and if you open up and talk about it, you'll find that person. And, through talking about it, I saw a lot of people in my life that were there with me. My whole family was there, my aunts and uncles and cousins. A lot of people shut down, and I was the only one, actually my friend Brittany, we were the only 2 people that stayed in therapy and continued with therapy. And, with that being said, I learned that not only that, I was there to help people, but also it's like you're always in the right place at the right time. And that the universe, God, they don't do things, to you. Everything is done for you. So that event happened for me. And with that being said, I know that I'm a better daughter out of it, a better sister. I know that I'm going to be a better leader at Knoss. And because of it, I was able to recognize relationships that were not healthy for me. And because of that, I am, unfortunately, an amazing person that I did get to spend time with, and I did marry an amazing woman. But unfortunately, it wasn't the right fit. And I ended just recently, a friendship, my best friend of over 22 years. I just ended that friendship because I had to. With that being said, I learned how to recognize what was serving me, what was healthy for me because of that situation. And I now am able to put boundaries down. I'm no longer all the time the people pleaser. I'm taking care of myself for the first time. I'm putting my own mask on before I care about everyone else and please everyone else. That's what came out of it for me, was I have to take care of myself. I have to make the right choices so I can help people and change people's lives.
See, I love that, because I think that's something that, okay, there was this terrible situation that happened that was awful, but there's something that came out of it that you learned from. And I think this is the message that really I'm trying to put out there. You have a choice how you think about this stuff.
Yeah.
You could have been, like you said, this happened for me and I learned from it and I met people and I figured things out. You could have gone, I am a victim of this and I'm going to drink and smoke and the world is evil and people are awful and, and that's not going to get you anywhere, but it's the choice a lot of people make.
And even in your situation that you've shared a bit about, right? You can choose to say, oh, I'm a victim, I'm angry, I'm pissed. Or you can look at that and say, how can I use this to make me a stronger and better person? Let that be.
If you'd met me in my 20s, you would have seen angry, pissed woman.
Right. But like, let my life now, right? Let my job at Knoss Apparel, let my family and friends, let my daughter's success, my own success. That is my revenge to the guy that tried to kill me. That's my revenge to him. I don't have to go around and hate the guy. After Route 91, there was a whole campaign. There was merch and t-shirts and hats. F that guy, or like basically, I forget what it was, but I had to unfollow so many of these support groups because that's all these people were doing. And I thought, you guys are, that's what this is about for you guys. You want to hate some guy that killed himself for what he did to you. So I decided to take myself back to Vegas with my girlfriend at the time. And we went back and retraced our steps. And we also decided to go to the Healing Garden. And I made the decision to forgive that guy. I made the decision to forgive Stephen Paddock. I did, because I had to. What am I going to do? Hate this guy for the rest of my life?
No, it doesn't get you anywhere.
So it's like I had to forgive him for what he did. But I also learned, like, life is really short. And I learned that in that night. People say that, right? Your entire life is short. It is short. I saw people lose their life that night. Life is short. I'm telling you it is. So it's like, I remember sitting in Sunrise Hospital saying to myself, I can either go home and not deal with this and be pissed off and angry, because I was in that moment. I can go have a beer right now in Vegas. I can drink at any time if I want to. And I could go deal with it that way. And then I was like, or I could be a really good parent. I was with Alpha Broder at the time. I could be a really good employee. I could be the best employee for them. And I could be an even better sister, a better daughter, a better co-parent, and all these things. So that was the decision I made, but it's it's just, there's no point in staying angry at anything at all.
Well, no, it doesn't get you anywhere. And honestly, the people that you're pissed at don't care.
No.
They're gone, or they've moved on, or they shot themselves, or whatever it was. And, it's not, but this is a really awkward segue, but we have a question and it leads into something that I wanted to talk about. So I'm going to put this up. Cindy says, I know I missed the beginning and the middle, but can you tell what Knoss Apparel is? And that was part of what I wanted to talk to you about. Yeah. So what I want to start with is, you said on the Badass Women of Promo podcast that basically you got a call from the gentleman who owns the company or runs the company. And he said, I want you to come and do this thing. And you went, what?
I was all, now is not a good time. Okay.
Yeah. But I want to talk for a minute before we get into what Knoss is, but I want to talk for just a little bit about how to know when the thing that maybe is scary or a little bit daunting is the thing that you need to do. Because I encountered a similar situation like this. So I just want to know your take on it.
Yeah, I knew. So I knew I needed to leave Alpha, which was really scary for me. I love Alpha. To this day, I do. I wanted nothing more than to be promoted and be VP of that company. That's what I ultimately wanted. I knew to get to that level, to get to my goal, I knew that I had to do preparation now to do that. So I decided to take a leap and go work for a customer to get that experience. How can I expect to be VP of a company one day without sitting in the customer's shoes? So I took a jump to go work for a customer of mine, DSG International, out of in LA, Facilis guys, greatest guys. And I took a leap to go to go work for them. That was so scary to leave Alpha Broder. All right. That was really scary to leave my benefits and my salary and the people that were my family. Right. Not knowing if they'd let me back in the doors. And so, I went to go work for DSG and we were crushing it. Absolutely crushing it. I was in the middle of, writing millions of dollars my first year in the business. And an old friend of mine, Elson Young, who was the president of Knoss Apparel, called me and shared a little bit about what's going on with him. Never dropped the Knoss name, never told me anything about it, just said that he's working on something and he wanted to talk to me about it. And I was like, Elson, Now is not the time. I'm crushing it. I'm writing millions of dollars. No. Well, he proceeded to call me and he would ping me. And I think he sent me a calendar invite for like every Friday or every other Friday at 6 a.m. we would connect. And so then I realized at one point that I was in a job interview. When I popped on Zoom, I was seriously, I was like, I thought it was just us. And he was like, oh, you got to meet the family. And so I popped on Zoom. And after I realized I was in an interview, I thought, oh, okay, this is serious. I should pay attention to this. This could be my next step, because I knew that I wanted to change people's lives. And what I was doing at DSG was taking people's money. Mm-hmm. That's it. I was changing my own life by changing my bank account. What I was trying to do at DSG was be a coach, be a consultant for those sales reps, and take DSG to the next level. Great company, great people, but I don't think they were ready for the heat I was bringing. I don't think that they were ready for me. And I realized that. And so with that being said, when Ellison reached out and I got a taste of what the Knoss family was like on a call, I said, okay, I want to learn more. I want to be here. And then I just realized this is my destiny, to be back on the supplier side, helping my customers, sell products. So
I love it, because there's something weird about having somebody reach out to you and go, I have this thing and you're the person that I want, because that happened to me too. And I was like, okay. Yeah. And it's flattering, but it's also like, oh shit, this is a lot of responsibility.
Yes. So when he mentioned to me the VP of sales role, I thought to myself, why me? I don't understand. And it took me 6 months into it. It was actually just after PPAI that I reached out to Ellison. I think I called him and I said, I get it now. And I did the same thing to Christine Ng, who is now with us. She left Alpha Broder. She was with Bodick and Rhodes. She was with Alpha. And then she went to Urban Outfitters. And I knew I needed her. I called her and I did the same thing. And I started to trick her the way that Ellison tricked me. I tricked her. And now she's here. So it's all
lured
good.
her into your web.
I did the Ellison method. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Cindy's asking me, who did she say she worked for? You worked for Alpha Broder.
I did. I worked
for DSG.
Yeah, I was with Alpha Broder for 10, 11 years, almost 11 years. And then covering the West Coast. And then I was with the DSG International out of El Segundo.
And now you are with Knoss.
So proud.
So tell us what Knoss is. I've obviously stalked everything they put out because I was learning about you, but it's an apparel company.
Yeah. So a new brand that our industry has. Yeah, that's cool. Thank you for doing that. Oh my gosh, thank you.
Oh, I have all of them. We can do LinkedIn.
Oh my gosh.
We can do Facebook.
You are so rad. Thank you for doing that. Oh,
well, that's why not get the message out there? It's all about supporting each other, right?
I really appreciate you doing that. With that being said, yeah, so Knoss Apparel is a startup in this industry, new brand. We have a very ambitious goal in the next 5 years. Part of that includes obviously, being at retail or retail play. Our company is based in San Fran. Our warehouse is in Star City, Arkansas right now, but Ryan Knoss is the son of Ken Knoss. Ryan is our CEO, and Ken Knoss, his dad, started a company called School Apparel Inc. Back in 1973, and they manufactured sweaters and school uniforms. They also go by A+ Apparel and Career Apparel, and they're headquartered up in San Fran. But Knoss Apparel, obviously named after the family, was a project that the Knoss family knew they needed something different to stay relevant in the industry, something to grow and scale. School uniforms are great, but that wasn't probably going to take them to the next level. We also do a ton of postal uniforms and some stuff for retail folks. With that being said, there was always this idea of we need a brand. We need a new brand. We need something new to sell. And so insert Elson Young. When Elson departed Alpha Broder, he was quickly introduced to the Knoss family and took on a consulting role at first. And after, his consulting term was up, the whole idea was, if you guys want to scale and grow your business, we've got to create a separate company. And I will take you there. And so Elson was the original, designer for the majority of things at Ash City. He's actually the founder and designer for Core 365. So the owner of Ash City actually asked Elson, I don't know what year, but years ago, hey, create me a brand that will get the company sold. And Alpha Broder obviously purchased them, and Core 365 is a huge part of Alpha's success to this day. So with that being said, Elson knows what he's doing, and I met Elson during that time, obviously. But he is the analogy I have for what he's doing here at Knoss Apparel. It's kind of fun. I'll share it with you. You know, Back to the Future, right? The movie Back to the Future.
Sure.
Where Marty McFly is on stage and he goes into that crazy guitar solo, and he's like sweating, his eyes are shut, he's totally feeling it. And everyone stops dancing and looks at him like he's a psycho. And he pops up and he says, what? He says, you guys aren't ready for this, but your kids are going to love it. That's ultimately why he departed Alpha, is he knew what this industry needed. He's doing it here at Knoss. So to be a part of, what he's doing and to be on his team and to learn from him every day in regards to innovative design and how to run a business properly, it's been mind blowing for me. And the coolest gift ever, right? For me to get from somebody. But that's kind of how this all happened. And Elson was crystal clear on the type of culture he wanted, on the type of team that he wanted. And then he obviously tasked me with building out my sales team. And so for someone that had never really done that before, I thought to myself, what's my approach here? What is my approach to build out a sales team? How am I going to make a dent in the industry? And then it dawned on me, my fitness experience. I need to hire coaches to change people's lives. I need to hire coaches like me, consultants that are going to help these people transform their businesses, which is insert this undercover speakeasy boot camp we're running right now as a beta test for some stuff. But with that being said, my approach here has been to hire marketing folks. I'm not hiring sales reps. You can go to Alpha, you can go to Sandmar, you can go to ETS, you can get sales reps there. When you come to Knoss, you're going to get a coach and a consultant who is going to treat you differently, and they come from a marketing background. So imagine if you're a customer coming to a supplier for help on how to present, or an end user meeting, or needing marketing collateral. Imagine if your inside sales rep was an inside marketing partner. It's been extremely successful for not only the customers since we launched, but also for us internally. I couldn't be more proud.
Well, I love that because one of my degrees is in marketing, and that's what I do. So but what I love about that is what you said about I was hiring coaches and not salespeople, because having been a marketing person who's worked with salespeople most of my life, some of them the traditional version of salespeople, I'm not knocking salespeople. I've known a lot of great ones. I've known a lot of men, mostly, have to say it, that were the caricature of what a salesperson is supposed to be. But I like the concept of hire coaches. And I also think from a female perspective, being asked to be a coach is a much more comfortable kind of hat than being asked to be a hard sell salesperson. Not every woman, I get that, but
yeah. People don't need sales anymore. They need relationships, and our customers our customers need help. Okay. They need help growing their business. They don't need you to come in and sell them on a new, marketing tool, or that they have to go figure out how to use on their own. They don't want you to come in there and sell them with your rolling rack. They want you to come in there and ask them questions, find their pain point, and help them through that. Not say, here's how you fix it. Let's do this together. And so it ties in. I'm looking at my life now, the last 20 years. I'm in this seat now. I know why God put me in the fitness industry. It gave me 11 years of learning how to take clients to their goals, how to measure success, how to measure goals, how to set the right goals, and how to motivate and inspire people, right? I learned at Alpha Broder, this industry, how to present apparel the right way. And the relationships I've received from my time at Alpha are, so valuable to me, and they mean the world to me. And my 2 years at DSG, I got not a long time, but I got enough time in our customers' shoes to understand what they go through every day. I failed, I succeeded, and now I'm more valuable here at Knoss because of all of those things. I'm valuable because I can help my clients get to their goal. I'm valuable because I can lead a successful 8-week business boot camp. And that was my approach. I have to hire coaches. I have to hire consultants with a marketing and branding background. I don't need sales reps. No one needs any more sales reps at all. Okay, people out there in the industry, if you need apparel, talk to these guys because they'll coach you through it. Thank you. But there's something about that I think is just
everybody needs to hear that, because I think the old way, especially with the last couple of years in the pandemic and how people are working differently and the supply shortages and, all the stuff we're going through, you need somebody who's not just going to be like, well, I got this. Do you want it? You need somebody that's going to be, okay, here's the state of how things are, and here's what we can do about it, and here's what you need to know. And I don't know, I'm always a huge advocate of being a partner. That's how I ran Enmart when I was at Enmart. Um, I wanted to help the customers, and I think you're operating on the same theory.
We are. And I'll tell you, right? I went to an end user meeting last week in San Diego. Of course, you'd think it would be an hour-long end user meeting. It lasted a little bit over 2 hours. And I ended up texting the Gemline rep, my alpha colleague, Kirsten King, who's a great person, love her to death, and the Sanmar rep, and said, hey, just a heads up, you might have an opportunity here. I mentioned your product. I would reach out to the customer today. So it is my job at Knoss Apparel. It is Christine's job. It is Melissa's job. We're the coaches, right? It is our job to know what is out there. Knoss doesn't have everything. We're not ever going to have everything. We don't want to be the guys that have everything. I just want to be the one that you come to when you need help. Because if I can direct you and say, hey, Ojo threw out some super sick product. This would complement our Legend canvas jacket super well. Run there for the polos, come to me for the jacket. I don't need to sell the customer on everything Knoss. My job is to help the customer, I
love that so much. Oh my God.
Well, it's like, one of my end user meetings with a BAMCO rep, I ended up placing one of my products in a uniform program. The rest of it, I placed from Sanmar and Alpha, and some safety stuff from SNS. So it's like, that's our job, is just to help you. Yes, obviously we have a goal at Knoss. Yes, I want to move units. Yes. But if I build that trust as a consultant and a coach with my customers, they're going to come to me for help, whether that means I have it or I don't. And that's what I want.
I love
that. I should help people,
Well, and the thing that I think is so important about that is that was always the way that I operated at Enmart too. But I don't just like this because it's how I did things as well. But if you can be a resource, and if your customers can trust you, if they know that if they come to you and say, I need this, and you're not the best source or you're not the best option, you'll tell them.
Yeah.
They will be your customer for the rest of their lives in the business world, because they know they're going to get the straight talk from you.
Yep. I that's one thing. Other thing I got from anyone. I don't have a filter anymore. I don't sugarcoat shit. I don't. Even if my friends are like, oh, my boyfriend, it's your boyfriend. We have to move on. Seriously, life is short. So it's like, but it's true. People get so hung up on things. I just think, does it actually matter in your day? No. I don't know. I don't have a filter. So it's like, I'm never going to lie to a customer. If I can't do something or Knoss can't do it, I'm just going to say we can't do it. I would call Sanmar. They're great at this. I have no problem doing that. I love Sanmar. Yeah.
Well, and that also fits into the whole thing of, I run this group called Women in Garment Decoration on Facebook. And it's, like about 1,200 women now who are in various aspects of promo or, garment decoration or whatever it is. Anybody who's even tangentially in the industry can be a part of it. Okay. So if you know any promo people who want to come join us, let them know.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's one of the things that comes up a lot is my competitors, what should I do? And I always say, your competitors can be your biggest source of business sometimes. If you can be friendly with them, you can compete with them, and also share, if they do something you don't, or if they offer a garment that you don't, or if they have an ability that you don't, you can share back and forth. It doesn't have to be adversarial.
Yeah, it's very true. I look at my competitors, they are competitors. But I also, I look at them and think, why are we not working together to help our customers differently? Right. I wouldn't want to compete against me, but at the same, it's true. But at the same,
I wouldn't want to compete against you either, actually.
But at the same respect, it's like, let's work better together. There are, I was in an end user meeting with UCLA the other day, and they were looking for aprons and a speaker. And I literally plugged Orig and Hub Group. I thought, go here. but that's our job is as these suppliers is to know your product. Number one, know who you're competing against. So I make a point to know what is happening. And I get all the newsletters, even ETS, even Logomark. I get all the weekly newsletters because number one, I want to know what my competitors are spending their time messaging for the week. I want to know what you're messaging so I can go in and swoop in and message something different. And I also want to be aware of what's out there because it's just going to make me more valuable here, right? If I know everything, not everything, but if I know a good chunk of what's going on, I'm going to be way stronger than my competitors, 100%.
That's totally true.
Yeah.
Well, I just think it's such a wrong-headed, and I want to get one quick comment in here. I just want to say thank you, Nancy. She said, it's a great show, Christine and Jenna. Thank you,
Thanks,
Nancy. We appreciate it. Nancy Minnie from Madeira, USA. Where was I going with this? I knocked myself off base now.
Oh, no.
I get off track, but well, no, I think there's this whole idea that it's an idea that it is also kind of in the space of women working with women, that there's a scarcity of resources and we all have to be competing, whether that's men or whatever sexual preference you have, you know, sexual partners or romantic partners or business or, you know, and it's like we get so much further when we work together, but that seems to be something that some people just don't get. And I don't understand that.
Yeah, I agree. You know, the only person that I have learned you're competing or I'm competing against myself is myself, me. It's me. Every day I'm competing against myself. Yesterday I did 40 basically cold prospect messages, and it was really easy for me to do. And I got, 12 meetings out of it. Today, I told myself, I know that I can do 45 or 50, and I'm going to. I'm 23 in for the day-ish. So it's like I'm competing against myself for sure, 100%. I think if people stopped putting the focus on competing against the next person running the race next to you and stop looking at that person, look at the finish line. Who cares who's next to you? If I'm next to you, don't look at me. Look at the finish line. I'm not looking at you. You know?
I'm starting to think you and I share a brain because I say that all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't care what the other trade I mean, I care what the other trade shows are doing, but I don't because our show is our show and we're going to make it the best we can. And if people want to come, that's lovely. And they'll have a great time and they'll learn a lot. Sure. But if they want to go somewhere else, I'm not knocking that.
No, not at all. It's like, focus on your own race, run your own race, focus on that. If you don't focus on what other people are doing around you, don't. It's crazy. Or what other people totally have around you. But I can't tell you how many sales reps, oh my goodness, how many sales reps I speak to at a massive company, where there's 30, 40 reps, and they're so focused. Well, so-and-so got a big order last week for $5,000. So go get one. Stop focusing on what he got. Let's put the groundwork in. Focus on yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. But the other half of that too, though, I think is that a lot of times you focus on other people because you don't have the belief in yourself.
Yeah.
So you're looking at, I have to say one of the things that I find most annoying in the world is people that are insecure about themselves, which is sad because I used to be that person. But now I'm like, you know what? Just be who you are. And be cool with what your strengths are and be cool with what your weaknesses are and just deal, don't be focused on this person got something I didn't, or this person, has a talent I don't, or whatever, because we're all different.
I 100% agree with you. And I think it just comes down to, again, like reining it in and focusing on what is important and focusing on what that end goal is for you. And not focusing too much on the future, right? But focusing, if I want to be here, if I want that $5,000 order, what am I doing in my day now to prepare for that?
Exactly.
And so it's like, yes, for the folks out there that do feel that their confidence isn't where it should be, oh my gosh, please call me. I want to talk to you. 100%. I hate especially when kids, I hate when anyone it doesn't feel secure, whether it's their body or their speaking abilities or their presentation skills, whatever it is. There's ways to manage your
Mhm.
strengths and your weaknesses. I'm not great at everything, and I'm definitely not for everyone. I know that I'm too much for some people, and that's fine. My job isn't for people to like me. You know, my job is to be myself and to be
Mhm.
authentic, and the right people will find me. And I truly believe that, you know?
I think that's such a valuable lesson that people need to learn, is that not everybody's going to like you. You're not going to be for everyone.
No.
Everything isn't going to be the thing that you should be doing.
Yeah.
But that's okay. You don't have to. And that took me, I mean, you know, I'm 53. That took me a really friggin' long time to learn.
Yeah, it's so true. You know, like I've definitely learned in the last 2 years with everything that I've, you know, had to go
Mhm.
through, you know, realizing that if I want to be here in 5 years, here in 10 years, and then by the time I'm 60 here, there was things I needed to change in my everyday life. And that did
Mhm.
include some relationships, right? So I think it's important to look at things in your life that aren't working and say, okay, do I need to change this or do I need to end this? And for
Mhm.
me, some of the things I needed to change. For me, some of the things I needed to end to get that confidence, you know, and now I have the confidence that what I'm doing in my day, it actually aligns with what I want to be, where I want to be in 1 year, 5, 10, 20, right?
I love it. Well, I hate to say it, but we're over an hour.
We are?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we are?
Yeah, we're at
Wow.
about an hour 6 right now. And I could bring up like 3 more topics, but then we'd be 2 hours, and that's a little bit much, I think.
I know.
So,
Oh, this
and
has
I
been so
know
fun.
myself, and I know when it's a good conversation, I just want to keep going.
Yeah. This has been so fun. And honestly,
Oh,
I learned a lot about myself through this. So thank you. Yeah.
well, great. Well, thank you for being here. And definitely, if you know of anybody that you think should be on this show, you know, pass the word along. Let me know. I love to meet new people and talk to new people. And thank you, everybody who is here today. Thank you for the comments. And I'm going to say goodbye, because if I don't, we're going to talk for another 45 minutes, and we should not do that. So, bye, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank
See
you.
you